Everybody, how is everybody this evening?
Just
All right.
yeah.
Awesome. Then I call this meeting to order and look to the first, second agenda item, public participation. I don't know if there is anyone from the public that would like to make any sort of comments at this point. Hearing none, then let's move on to the approval of minutes. We have two sets of minutes. The first being the October 8th special meeting where we discussed the purchase of the house on 214 Bolton Center Road.
It looked good to me. I'll make a motion to approve.
I make a motion to second.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the minutes?
No issues.
Emily, I have one thing. This is Linda.
Yes.
The very first sentence says emergency meeting of the Board of Selectmen was called to order. Should it be Board of Finance?
Oh,
Yes. And it's actually was it an emergency meeting or a special meeting? I don't know if the.
I remember it was emergency, I thought they said.
So then at the top, it probably should say emergency meeting minutes.
Because I think there's a difference.
Emily, I
between-
don't believe it was an emergency meeting because you noticed it within 24 hours. An emergency meeting would be something not noticed 24 hours in advance.
Yeah,
Okay.
It did say emergency in the title, I believe, that got sent out. So that's why I was saying, Sandy.
Yeah, I do know that we noticed it. So is there some way that we can, whichever one it is, change either the title or the first sentence so that the two match to be what it was? And yes, Board of Finance.
And Emily, it's Jill. On the website, it says it's a special meeting. When
Okay,
you look under the Board of Finance, it says special meeting on the October 18th.
then let's just call everything special meeting. So in the title, in the first sentence, Board of Finance. Any
And the
other
agen-
corrections? Okay, then all in favor, if I will go by roll call, I'm just going to go sort of across my screen here. Bob DiPietro,
Yes.
Ross Lally,
Yes,
Charlie Dana,
Yes.
Kristen Gurley,
Yes.
Bob Monroe,
yes.
Dick Tuttle.
Aye.
And I also approve them. So those minutes approve. Okay, the second set of minutes is from our regular meeting on Thursday, October 15th. Are there any changes that anyone noted? I did not notice anything myself, so can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion.
Motion.
Okay.
Oh, I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, so Kristen and Bob DiPietro. Any further discussion on the minutes? Then I will, by roll call, get approval. Bob DiPietro,
Yes.
Ross Lally,
yes,
Charlie Dana,
Yes.
Kristen Gorley,
Yes.
Bob Monroe,
Yep.
Dick Tuttle.
Abstain, not present for the meeting.
Again, and I approve them. So those minutes pass. Gesundheit.
Thank you.
Do you want to mute it?
Okay. The next item on the agenda is the election of officers. So annually, we need to identify who is going to be the chair and vice chair of the Board of Finance. And so I am looking for nominations from the floor for both positions. Currently, obviously, I am chair. Bob Monroe is vice chair.
I nominate Emily Bradley.
Second.
or which,
For which position? Chair or vice chair?
For chair.
DePietro, do you second that?
Yes.
Any other nominations? All in favor of Emily Bradley for Chair of Board of Finance, please say aye as I go through the roll call. Bob DePietro,
Aye.
Ross Lally,
Aye.
Charlie Dana,
Aye.
Kristen Gorley,
Aye.
Bob Monroe,
Aye.
Dick Tuttle,
Abstain.
and I guess I will vote for myself. So thank you, everybody, for your vote of confidence in continuing to be your chair. I hope we have another great budget season, virtual, but okay. So for the vice chair, as I mentioned, Bob Monroe is currently acting as vice chair. Can I have a nomination for vice chair?
I'll nominate Bob
Which Bob? For which position?
Monroe for the vice chair.
Second,
Thank you. Okay, Charlie Dana seconded that. Any other nominations for vice chair?
Yeah, I would like to nominate Kristen Gurley for some new blood.
Unfortunately, as not an elected official, we cannot have her as vice chair of the Board of Finance. Sorry, Kristen.
She's not elected.
Not to the Board of Finance. Correct?
I think Bob was
No.
talking about me, not Kristen Heck.
Oh, Kristen, I'm sorry. I heard Kristen Heck.
No, Gorley.
No, it's-
Okay,
it's-
my apologies.
it's Gorley. I'm wondering
We'll
what.
make you an honorary member, Kristen Heck,
Oh, thank you so much.
because you obviously don't have enough to do.
Yeah,
I am sorry, I misheard that. Anyway, so Bob DePietro nominates Kristen Gorley as vice chair for the Board of Finance. Do I have a second for,
I'll second that.
okay. So I have two nominations on the floor, one for Bob Monroe, one for Kristen Gorley. I think at this point, we need to vote for the, do a
You
vote.
need to ask if there are any more nominations. Point of
Are there
order.
any other nominations for vice chair for the Board of Finance? And I
Kristen-
apologize, Kristen Hecht, at that point, you can't be it. Any other nominations? Okay, hearing none, then we have two nominees, Bob Monroe and Kristen Gorley. And at this point, I would ask for, since Bob Monroe was nominated first, I will ask for those who want to have Bob Monroe as vice chair, please say aye, and then I guess I will do the same thing for Kristen Gorley, and the majority wins. Does that sound about right?
Why don't you ask for a raise of hands?
Well, because I can't see your picture, Dick. So I can't see you raising your hand.
No, not raising the hand in the video thing, using the hand raise function of Zoom. You can do a screenshot from that and you'll have a written record.
you hit participants.
Okay, I'm just sort of going participants, and I'm looking for my, can everybody get
For
to
instance-
the components where you can raise your hand or not?
Yes, we all go to participants. Then at the bottom,
Okay, so for Bob Monroe, if you would like Bob Monroe as your vice chair, please raise your hand.
You know, it's not letting me raise my hand.
no,
So
me either.
Me either.
Okay.
Which
Okay,
is
then
good.
we're gonna go back to the roll call. So I will, if those who raised your hand can please do that. So if you would like Bob Monroe as your vice chair, I'm going to go through the roll call, say aye or nay, and then I will do the similar for Kristen Gorley. So Bob DiPietro. For Bob, this is for Bob Monroe as vice chair.
I have to say nay, I guess.
Okay, Ross Lally,
Aye.
Charlie Dana,
Aye.
Kristen Gorley,
Can I abstain for conflict of interest?
No,
no, you can vote.
Oh,
you can
okay.
vote.
Nay.
Bob Monroe,
Yes. Aye.
Dick Tuttle,
No,
so I've got.
you're the
right now,
tiebreaker.
I am the tiebreaker. That's what I was just, I am going to say yay. So that is 4 votes for Bob Monroe, 3 votes for Kristen. I'm going to assume that if I flip it, the second motion was to have Kristen Gorley. I'm assuming everybody is going to vote the opposite of what they just did. Is that a correct statement?
Correct.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So Bob Monroe, congratulations, you are vice chair again. We appreciate your, pardon?
I say congratulations.
yeah, what you wish for, Bob.
So Bob Monroe, we value your continued knowledge and historical knowledge of the Board of Finance and everything you've done. So I think we appreciate that you are continuing on as vice chair.
Thank you. And that's the only reason why I voted for myself. I heard what Bob DiPietro said and I considered it, but I still would like to be involved at the extent that I am presently. And I don't know, I'm not sure I'm going to run for another term, so.
Okay. Then election of officers, I am continuing on as chair. Bob Monroe is continuing on as vice chair. We can move on to the elected official and town staff reports. We have the Board of Education as the first one on our list. So we can start there, whichever.
Okay, hi, everybody, how are you? Do we have, is Jill or somebody sharing the screen like Josh usually does, or is that not happening anymore?
He unfortunately was not able to be here tonight. And if you give me a second, Jill, are you able to share? If not, if you give me a second, I can download stuff and share.
I am not. So,
Okay, give me
yeah.
one.
Yes, sharing is enabled. So.
Okay.
public should.
If you give me, let's see, where do you want to start, Kristen?
Whatever you pull up first, I think is probably, here, you know what, hang on, let me, there we go. Okay, do you see what I just put up, everybody?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was the report commentary that was sent to you about this year. I just want to call out the fact of the $294,829 that we are currently realizing. You have heard me speak about that before. That is due to a number of things. So let me get to that piece, which I believe is here in the monthly status report. Before I get to that piece though, at this point, we are projecting that we're going to fully expend regular instruction. I got to tell you, every day is a changing landscape. So I guess we'll stay tuned on that, I think. For student support services, I know this is Sandy's most despised thing that I say, I'm pretty sure, but special ed is a changing landscape. and it is possible that we have some outplacement changes that will be coming. We're doing our very best to manage that within our operating budget, actually within the special ed budget. Stay tuned. There will be more on that in the coming months, I think. Things change daily right now. Administration support services there, we're looking at full expenditure at this point in time. Operations, we received notification of our approval of the coronavirus relief funds. They allowed us to, after a lot of back and forth on the state's part, just trying to get everything straightened out, for the full 133,000 some odd dollars. They allowed us to transfer the monies that we had in the other two categories fully into PPE, cleaning supplies, and safety supplies. So these monies, what we were originally told was that they had to be expended by December 31st of this year. So what Casal and I did was we went through all of our components that fit within that category, and we assigned things that we have already received. We still have things on order, but everything's on back order. So we felt the safest thing to do was to actualize PPE, the air conditioning that we rented for center school, cleaning supplies that we already have in hand that we've already purchased since July 1st. So we'll be waiting for drawdown on that money in the coming weeks. So we've actualized that there. And then in salaries and wages, you see that we had salary savings for unfilled positions right now that we're actualizing of 122,000. We still have several outstanding positions. We still have a special ed position that we need to fill. This accounts for the actualization of one of the special ed positions, as well as a portion of another position that came in lower. We're trying to work something out with UConn about filling the other special ed position. I just don't know where we stand with that yet. We're waiting on UConn. We have 119,000 savings in new hires. This was offset by $58,000 music position, which used to be a 0.6 position, which was in the choice grant. We needed to make it a 1.0 because of the needs at Bolton Center School, particularly during COVID, and the need to have kids spaced out. In certain music classes, 12 feet is what is required. So we did that to make sure that we could provide music education to all of our students at Bolton Center School, and we moved that full position into the operating budget. We had benefit savings of $46,000 on our unfilled positions that we're able to actualize at this point in time. We had 163,000 new hire savings in benefits. And that is all offset by an increase of $98,000 in insurance changes. And for those of you that have been on the Board of Finance before, you've heard me talk about this before. We've had a number of years where the changes work to our benefit. We are fortunate that we had some play with, if you will, in benefits in the new hire savings, and the fact that we're in this pickle with these unfilled positions. Otherwise, we'd be in a world of hurt with the $98,000 additions. Then when we get down here, you see that we're 22% expended compared to 23% last year. I did ask for a preemptive transfer of $20,000 that the Board of Education unanimously approved into the operations budget. Currently in that budget, John has roughly 19,000, I think it's $238 that are unencumbered at this point in time. I felt that that left us woefully low, particularly if we need to add additional PPE and or cleaning supplies, as well as anything that just may go wrong in terms that needs to be fixed. So we took that out of salaries, and that was that transfer was approved. Any questions on this piece?
I do.
Kristen, I can't see everybody, so.
Nope, that's okay.
Kristen Curley.
So looking at the unfilled positions and in the short term, you know, it's like, okay, it's saving us money now, but when we are in a position to start hiring these people, they're in a very comfortable position because there's such a shortage. How rough do you think it's going to be just from a financial standpoint? Do you have any type of an idea that you can give us?
I don't. I mean, I don't. To be honest with you, we had, here's a perfect example. We had a Spanish position, teachers leaving next Wednesday. And so, you know, we posted the position and nothing viable at that point. So then I had Beth put out an email to the entire state of Connecticut to every teacher certified in Spanish. So we sent out like 3,500 emails. And we wound up with a crackerjack new Spanish teacher, but she can't start till after the first of the year. So we've had other people that sent emails back. We did the same thing for the open special education positions. And we had people send emails back. Oh, I wish this were the beginning of the year. Bolton has such an amazing reputation. I would have jumped. But, you know, we're in the situation we're in and people don't want to leave and go to uncharted territory. And I understand that, which is why we're working so hard to try to work something out with UConn, because we have someone in-house right now who is a paraprofessional for us, who is getting certified as a special education teacher. And we think this young man is a crackerjack and going to be a wonderful addition to our teaching staff. The state has offered flexibility with regards to certification. I have already signed off on that piece, but it also requires the college or university to sign off on it. And UConn said no. So Beth went back to ask why not. Well, we don't think it's good for the person, the learning that they get. So then I went back and asked for a meeting, and we met with several members of the group there at UConn. And after a long conversation, and I think some misunderstanding on their part about the regulations and how things are going to work, I called the state to let them know that. The state called them to inform them that they had things a little garbled, I think. So we're waiting for them to let us know whether or not they're going to allow for this flexibility. So, and I know that the commissioner is looking at additional possible flexibilities, but it will require the State Board of Ed to take some action. So that's a long-winded answer to say I really don't know.
No, I knew it was kind of opening a can of worms on that one, and I appreciate it. And you don't think if it makes a difference being remote or being hybrid, or it's just the state of?
I just think it's a state of things, and you know, leaving what you know in this chaos in education right now and going anywhere new, I think is just this is a huge lift in education, period. And you know that, right? You're a parent dealing with it at home, right? So I just think that people are scared and it's just too much.
Yeah.
So, but again, these are positions that we need. You know, we're robbing Peter to pay Paul right now, and it's not ideal, but they're going to be positions that are going to be in our budget likely again next year.
Okay.
And we will hopefully be able to actualize more savings, but we still keep them posted and we keep reposting them, trying to like refresh the posting, if you will, you know, to see if we get any takers.
Okay.
Dick Tuttle, did you have a question? Was that the voice I heard?
Yes, it was. Thanks. I can't raise my hand, so it's a little awkward. So my question is, when you say we're realizing savings from unfilled positions, that's year-to-date savings, or you're not booking the full year?
No, for what we've shown there right now, we've booked the full year for a couple of positions.
Oh, you did?
We have not booked the full year for all of them, because I'm not ready to do that yet.
You're not ready to wave the right flag. Okay.
I'm not. That is correct.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions on this report?
Charlie has his hand raised and I have mine.
Oh, okay. I apologize. I'm not even seeing hands raised. So Charlie, you want to ask your question?
No question. My bad with the hand raise.
Okay. Bob Monroe.
Yeah, I just come up with a question here or there for Kristen. And Kristen, the other Kristen Corley, I would have asked a similar question if it wasn't me, so don't feel guilty. So when you mentioned UConn, I was curious because I was thinking, I had a provisional certification at one point. I don't know if you've thought about that angle, but that might be a way to get there.
Well, it's called a DSAP waiver now, and that's how we're trying to get there. I have signed off on the waiver. We are waiting to see if UConn will be willing to sign off on the waiver. We've hired another teacher at the high school under the same waiver, and we worked collaboratively with St. Joseph University, where this person is getting a master's degree in teaching and is going to be student teaching. So St. Joe's, we worked it out, and actually we did it pretty darn quickly. But we'll see, I guess, is what I got right now.
So has that person, the guy that you think that you have some knowledge of, has he completed the coursework?
The coursework is done, I think, this week or next week, and then it would be student teaching. And that's what the state has offered up as the sort of flexibility, is to allow people who are student teaching, if the district and the university or college is willing to sign off, the person can actually teach under a DSAP waiver, be supervised by the district and the college, but they're getting paid by the district under this DSAP waiver. And then once that period of time that student teaching happens is over, the person can then apply for initial educator certification.
Good. So, yeah, it makes sense. I mean, even, the shortage of nurses and everything else, and I've spoken with you about the shortage of teachers. And I mean, there's a lot of, it's just so, and I am so appreciative of what you're doing in your staff. I mean, there's just so many changes and things going on. You guys are doing yeoman's work.
Amazing staff. Thank you.
Let's see, I did have a second question. Okay, it was in part explained in regards to the projected savings at this point. You've got a kind of a mixed bag between some that were projected for the whole year and some that were not.
Correct.
Okay.
Like Dick said, I'm not ready to raise the red flag yet.
Yeah. Yeah, remember the other question now. So how are you doing at this point in regards to, let's say, regular instruction, as far as having the amount of teachers that you had positions for?
So we're hanging on by a shoestring. That is my new favorite statement, I think. We have managed to find some substitutes who are willing to be permanent subs only in Bolton, because I did not want to be in a position, I think I've shared this previously, and we were really struggling to find people.
Sure.
We're still not at the number I want to be at center school yet, but what we're running into is the fact that, you guys, if you had kids that went through school, you know that at one point or another, your kids went to school and the teacher wasn't feeling well, or the teacher was quite frankly sick and they were still teaching. It's just what teachers do. But now, pretty much any symptom, for the most part, that has to do with the flu or cold or allergies or anything else is also, or a stomach upset, whatever. It's all a COVID-like symptom. So they have to stay home. They have to stay home and take a test and can't come back until they have a negative test, or if they have a positive test, that's a whole other story. So a couple of weeks ago, I had 3 teachers out sick. They each went and got tested like on this within 24 hours of each other. And all 3 of them went to different testing locations. 2 of them came back 5 days later, and the other one came back 6 days later. All came back negative, which is awesome for our staff and for any of our students or anybody else that they encountered and their family. But they're home, either sick as a dog and not teaching, and we've got a sub in the room, or not so sick that they're not they're teaching from home, but we still have to have a sub in the room. So, you know, I'm worried, and I shared this on a call today with State Department of Education officials, that, you know, we may have to close because of staffing issues.
Right.
Never mind, you know, an outbreak of COVID within our cohorts of students. So I'm hopeful that we don't get there, but I am concerned. The other concern in that is that if, for example, a district around us closes for a period of time, and this is happening in the western part of the state right now, you've seen it on the news, they're closing, you know, until like January 18th or 19th because of what's going on in their communities and their schools. Well, when that happens, I'll use, like, if a neighboring community closed, we have teachers that live there and teach here. And if they have small children, their small children have nowhere to go. And so they're going to have to stay home. They may be able to stay home and teach remotely, but do we then have the availability to have someone in that room? Or are they not able to teach remotely and they have to take a leap? So there's a lot of variables that we're dealing with right now, literally on a day-by-day basis. Sometimes
Same
it's
question, special
hour
ed,
by
please.
hour. Say again?
Same question, special ed.
It's the same situation.
How close are you?
We're hanging on by a shoestring, maybe less, but we're hanging on.
But if you get this special approval, will that?
We will be in much better shape,
Okay.
but that's provided everybody stays well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Kristen, did you have anything else, any other report that you wanted to share?
Well, we had the transfer listing. I mean, you've seen that. I'm not really going to go through that. The one I wanted to share this information with you so you can see it clearly, what we put in to the COVID relief funds. As I shared, we had the portable AC rental. We bought air scrubbers. I think I've shared this before, for both nurses' offices and our isolation rooms. Desk shields for every kid and our staff. We needed wireless speakers so that the kids could hear the gym teachers in the gym at center school, because they're all spread out all over the place now when they have gym. Hand sanitizer, isolation gowns and coveralls, masks. We needed an outdoor canopy tent for meal delivery when it's in the rain. Sanitizing wipes primarily for the lower elementary grades. Soap for touchless soap dispensers, and some additional walkie-talkies, because now everybody had an area outside at center school where they could take kids for a mask break, and we needed to make sure that teachers could communicate where they were going and what they were doing. So that's what you see there.
Yep. You got to call them radios, by the way.
Okay. All right. And then the next piece I need to pull up is we reviewed the grants. Let's see. No, that's not what I meant to pull up. Sorry. You got to give me a second. I got to find it here. Hang on. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
All right, thank you. So these are our projected grant funds with explanations. A couple of things that I want to call to your attention. The first is Medicaid under number 3. We did a cost benefit analysis of Medicaid, and the state average is 41.45%. And how this works is parents have to give consent for us to apply for Medicaid funds if their child qualifies. Bolton's rate is 16%. So we really don't have a lot of parental interest in participating, and we can't enroll the students without the parents, saying that we can. This is an extremely, extremely cumbersome piece. It requires our special education teachers to be charting time served and all kinds of charting data on a weekly basis. It's a tremendous amount of work out of the finance and the special education administrator's office for not a lot of return. And we have to pay an outside agency to also support us. So that also comes out of the till. We have made a decision that we will not be participating in Medicaid this year. And when you do that, you do it for a 3-year period. We do have monies built up in Medicaid because back, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, something happened at the federal level, and they didn't do something correct at some point, and we, along with probably every other district in the country, got a benefit of a fair amount of money. However, we've gotten word that we're going to owe money back from, I think, the 18-19 year. So then we'll have to wait to find out about the 19-20 year. So this is the kind of rigmarole that you go through for, quite frankly, some really limited returns. And when you factor in the work output right now, we just don't have the capacity to do it right now. We just do not. You see our title grants there as well. And then in number 7, Title IV, that's a relatively new thing for the last couple of years. It's part of ESSA. It's not a guarantee that we ever are even allowed to apply for it. We were allowed to apply for it this year. We've applied for it. We just got word it's been granted. It's like a $10,000 grant, and they have very specific parameters each year, and each year they seem to change based upon, I think, what the feds think and the state needs to be the priorities. The ESSER funds we talked about previously, that we had already applied and been approved for like $17,000 some odd dollars, and we put that towards Chromebooks that we purchased. The coronavirus relief fund I've already spoken to. Open choice, we're going to get to in a minute, where I can show you the budget. The chef grant, even though it's part of open choice, we delineate it because the chef grant, we have to write for that. It has to be approved by the chef office. And there are very specific requirements within that for what we can use it for. Here on this page, I'd like to call your attention to a couple pieces. The Perkins 5 up top, number 12. Last year, CREC decided in the fall that they weren't going to be the, I guess, overseer, if you will, for all of the CREC area districts for the Perkins grant. So we had to do a quick scramble, and because we're so small, we couldn't do it on our own because of the $5,000 that we get for this. We had to do a partnership with Summers. There are some pretty strict limitations on this, and we don't offer sort of the host, if you will, of electives and types of courses that this can often be applied to, and it's very restrictive. So we have made a decision, because neither Summers nor Bolton has the capacity this year to even take time to write this. I'm just being honest. So we're not going to be participating in that this year. And the last one that we're not going to choose to participate in is the Amplify Grant. That is a very small grant, like around $2,500. It kind of depends on the year. We have reached out to the Amplify people now numerous times and gotten no response. We spent only $161 of our couple of $1,000s last year because COVID hit and things we had planned for the spring could not happen. We tried to contact them to find out, could we even roll over last year's monies to use this year? And we can't even get anybody to answer us. So at this point, we are not writing for that grant either. So having said that, these are the 1920 unaudited expenditures for each of the grants, which I presume you had an opportunity to already look at. You will see here at the end, the grand total that we had expended. And then here, I think is more importantly, the 2021 projected grant categories and where we anticipate the expenditures happening. You will see in the Medicaid line number 3, the grand total of the $47,575 because we had $47,575.15 in carryover monies. Pretty specific on how we can use that, particularly to go towards supporting special education and students who qualify for Medicaid. You'll see the areas where we spent the COVID funds there. Our open choice, you will see that we had a carryover from last year of $115,371.44. We have had a carryover every year. I will call to your attention that carryover is extremely important for us. We do not receive choice funds, if we're lucky, until December. And that's not all of them. We receive the full amount in total of all of our choice funds, in some in December and some again, usually mid to late May. So that allows us to be utilizing some of those funds. We do have some positions that are in those funds that we have to pay people, and some other things that we need to support our choice students and other pieces that we need in that. And you can see too, you know, we've delineated where we have positions and what positions are in what grant. And I just want to call to your attention as well that the FTEs will fluctuate from year to year. Part of that is because, and I'll go back to this piece here, in the chef choice grant here, you'll see that 0.91 of a guidance counselor is in the chef grant. And last year, we had only 0.61. That is because we had a different guidance counselor who had been here a long time last year, who was in the grant. So her salary was higher. So we have to work towards a number, not a percentage, and then we work it out for what the percentage is. That guidance counselor left, took another job. We have a new guidance counselor who is brand new, so makes less than the one who had been here for a very long time and had left. So you see that the FTE on that position is higher because we had to get to a dollar amount when we're applying for the grant. And that, I believe, is all I have.
Bravo.
Thanks.
Thanks for being so transparent about this. This is kind of a new thing, right?
No, we did it last year too.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I recall we've done this pretty much every year I've been on the board. We go through
Yep.
this. So.
So I have a question if possible.
Yes, Dick?
Okay, I'm very sensitive to the fact that your funding cycle doesn't line up with the fiscal year cycle. But I was wondering, do you have high confidence? Well, for instance, you just in last week's meeting adopted this budget for the grant monies, and I assume it goes into effect immediately, or the 1st of December, or how does that work?
Well, to be honest, Dick, here's some of the parameters that we work with grants. So for many of them, choice being one of them, in particular, it's contingent upon what our enrollment is in what is called the PSIS report that we have to file on October 1st. Then that filing has to get certified, and we just literally, maybe not even 10 days ago, finally certified that report. That is what constitutes what we will get paid in terms of tuition payments for each choice student in December. If enrollment changes between October 1 and any time between now and when we get either our, between the December and the May payment could be less if we have less students. So our title grants, our 2-year rolling grants. So it's always like balls are in the air. I don't know how else to explain it better than that. But yes, this is what's in effect for right now. But again, our
what you're
numbers
saying
could
is-
be different based upon student enrollment for choice.
Do you do formal line item transfers within each program, for instance, between FTEs and supplies and that kinds of things? Do you commonly
do
do
not.
that, or you never do that?
We're not required to do that.
If you underrun, for instance, it simply goes into the carryover to next fiscal year, so that you can
Correct.
handle your cash flow requirements.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions for Kristen on the grants or where we are on the Board of Education budget? Kristen, did you have anything else that you had wanted to share?
I do not,
Okay.
unless anybody has any other questions for me.
Hearing none, then why don't we move on to the revenue summary and the town update. Jill, are you able to share or do you need me to share?
I don't see where I can, no.
Okay, give me 1 second. I downloaded everything. I just need to, where do you want to start?
We can start with the tax.
Okay. Let me just bring that one up. Okay, let me. Sorry, I got to get back to Zoom, hit share. I'm just going to share my screen and hopefully I'll get to the right thing. Tax report, is this where we want to start?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, as you can see, the current taxes are at 100.02%, as compared to last year was 100.68% for current taxes. Motor vehicle is 91.21%. Last year we were at 93.17%. The supplemental, those bills have not gone out yet. The prior year, last year was 60.17%. This year we're at 44.67. I'm sorry, last year was 44.67%. This year we're at 60.17%. The interest, we're currently at 33.606%. Last year we were at 112.48%. So, but the more that we collected last year leaves less interest for this year.
As I recall, we did a great job in collecting prior year, which means that
Absolutely.
what is available to collect in interest and fees goes down for this fiscal year.
Correct.
Okay. Any questions on the tax collection report? Okay, then I will attempt to, we want which report revenues, right?
It's going to be right after the tax. To the right, up on the right-hand side. Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Okay, so here is our revenue statement for ending October 31st.
We finally, even though it doesn't show here, it came in November 1st. We did get our first payment of ECS money on November 1st. So that was a relief because I was getting a little nervous about that. Even though it doesn't show it here, we did get $670,804. We did get a little bit of state money, but not much yet. We got the $24,288 for the pilot and the municipal stabilization at $11,053. We then went down to the other town revenue, and this is what we've collected, a total of $96,653.48. For the rest of it, I do also want to share that I got notification today that we will get our COVID money tomorrow for just under $18,000.
Okay, and that's different than the grant that
Correct.
Superintendent Hecht was talking about, correct?
Correct.
This is the town COVID reimbursement. Okay,
Correct.
just want to clarify.
Yep. Yep.
How much were you expecting?
$17,958. That's it. Yeah, I had to submit in reports and explanation of all of the expenditures in detail, and we were reimbursed for everything that we presented to them.
Okay.
Great. Are any of these revenues that are still outstanding, is there anything that you are concerned about that you've heard that we may not get or are late based on when you typically get?
The NC AAA, I don't believe we will be doing that program this year. That's where we're reimbursed based on the chore workers that go out to and the handyman that goes out, my understanding is that he doesn't want to do it anymore. So Carrie and I did have a conversation, and right now they're not thinking that they're going to do the NC AAA, but another program, but I'm not sure where that is at right now. So that one, I'm sure that we probably won't get that much. Another concerned area that I have is the interest. That's 4 months worth of interest, what you're looking at. If we even make 50,000, we'll be lucky. It's down to, I believe it was 0.35%. Last year, this time I was getting 2.25% of interest.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty upset about that, but there's really not much I can do. Stiff is down rock bottom also, and it's not good. It's just not good.
No, it isn't. Okay. And then the other excess cost grant, we don't typically see that quite yet, do we?
Correct.
Okay.
Question?
Yes, Bob Monroe.
I had trouble with the participant thing there for a while. Actually, Kristen is probably Kristen Hecht might be the person to answer the question. How did we do as far as participation, the number of students with Columbia versus last year, and the number of choice kids versus last year?
So we have only 5 freshmen in the freshman class right now from Columbia. So not as well as we expected. They had a number of students who made a decision to go to a technical high school this past year. That is not a phenomenon that we have seen in my entire time here in Bolton. In fact, I don't think they've seen that there in maybe ever. And we are down we are at 48 students for choice. And I think we were at 52 last year. We have 0 choice students in kindergarten this year. And I do think that the pandemic has had an effect, right, on whether or not parents want to put their little kids on a bus and
Right.
ride a bus for any period of time to come to school. So we're down on both.
So we're down probably what, 8 to 10 on Columbia as well? then?
No, well, so I had projected, and so we're down 7 there. Let me see if I can pull up my other numbers. I don't think I can get to, let me see. I'll have to search for that, Bob. I'm gonna come back to that if that's okay.
Okay, but if you can, if not, it's okay. I'll get you
Long
there.
and short is we're down numbers on Columbia and Choice, which
Right.
obviously affects our revenues.
Correct.
Any other questions on the revenues? Then let me go to the expenditures. We want to use the one that Josh sent out earlier.
I sent all the Board of Finance members his memo
Yeah.
and the expenditure report. Everybody got that same exact one earlier in the week.
Okay, so here's, do you want the memo first?
Sure,
Okay, hold please.
sorry.
That's okay. Okay. I don't know if everybody had a chance to read it.
No.
I apologize for not being able to attend tonight's meeting. Let's see, highlighted the lines where in gray and the yellow are the watch list. No departments meet the criteria to appear on this month's watch list, so we should not see any yellow. Overall expense 29.33%, which is 4% under the benchmark of 33 1/3. Achieved partly because limitations were placed on blanket purchase orders until all of the tax payments were due on October 1st. I think we talked about that at our last meeting. And I think those are the highlights of it. So let me go to,
Emily, this is Linda.
yes,
Is there any way that you can forward that to me?
yes.
I can send it to you. I'll send it to you, Linda.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
That is not the one I want. Hold, please. Now I gotta find my inbox. Oh. My controls are in the way. Those are my sub plans. Sorry about that. Okay. This is what I'm looking for. Okay. Nope. I apologize. There it is. Okay, so if you take a look at, there's nothing in yellow, so nothing's on the watch list. The gray ones are our fixed annual costs. And if we take a look at the rest of it, it looks like, as he said, we are down as compared to last year in spending. And if I'm looking at sort of percentages, nothing really jumps out as being overexpended. Does anybody have any questions for Jill? Or if Jill can't answer it, I can take it to Josh and ask him.
You know what, Emily, I do have a question. I guess this is where I would ask it. Because it's not going to be listed as far as an expense, because I think it was taken out of the realm altogether. It was the Herrick Park. because they set up a separate fund.
Oh, the recreation round fund. Sandy or Jill, I'm not sure in terms of what kind of revenues we've brought in there, because that's supposed to be a self-sustaining fund. Whatever's brought in, pays for the programs that are going on or not, as the case may be.
Correct. There was enough money in the recreation round fund last year to fully fund the program for a year. And we've used those funds to continue to employ the rec director and the program coordinator. Unfortunately, due to COVID, many of our programs have had to been canceled, and many others were canceled for lack of participation. So right now, it appears that we will have some funds in the recreation round fund to go into next year, but we may need to supplement that with a budget appropriation if we cannot get back to regular activities.
That's going to turn into an expense that we need to consider, certainly for budget next year.
We're looking at that at this point. It may come to some reduced hours, but it's too early to even say that.
Okay.
Good question, Kristen. I'd forgotten about the recreation department. Any other questions for these expenditures? Sandy, is there anything else that you want to add, or Jill?
Nothing from me.
No, I don't have anything if no one has any other questions.
I just would like to make a comment that I like that format, and would only say that maybe he could highlight in green things which are substantially underrunning.
Okay. I can talk to Josh about that.
It's a minor thing, but
yeah,
it would be helpful.
Okay. Then I'm going to stop sharing because I think we hit all of the major reports, correct? Did I miss one?
So
That's all the reports. The only other thing, Emily, would be the calendar that you're going to vote on.
Okay. Give me a second to go back to that, and I can I apologize. I have too many emails and I am now can't find one. There it is. Okay. Do we have anything else from an elected official and town staff report? Otherwise, we can move on to the next item, which is the meeting calendar for next year.
Emily, I can't get into my search archive because I'm here at home and it's blocking me. I'm not really sure what that's about, but I'll have to send you the information on Columbia. I can send it to you. I can send it out to everybody. I can have it to you tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you, Kristen.
perfect.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Technology. Anyway, okay. Then the next item is our meeting calendar that we need to adopt this evening. So let me try and go there. Everybody see the calendar? Oops, nope, that's the agenda. You don't want the agenda. Hold, please. There we go. So our meeting schedule is, we are still planning the third Thursday of the month. These are our regularly scheduled monthly meetings. Obviously, once budget season starts, we will add special meetings in order to review all of the budgets and bring it to hopefully a town vote. Does anybody see any issues with these dates as we've laid them out?
I personally don't have an issue, but I will still throw it out there for the group. September 16th is Yom Kippur. I don't know if that affects anybody.
This is Linda. September 16th affects me as well because I'm chairing the Columbia Board of Assessment Appeals meeting that night.
Okay. Would we be able to make that just the week earlier? Let's see, where does that put us?
You have to look at the unified calendar.
Yeah,
You would not have a Board of Ed update if you did it the week earlier, because that's the night of the Board of Ed meeting.
Right.
if Linda was not able to take minutes, would we be able to have somebody else do that in her absence?
I'm sure we could get someone else.
I mean, as you know, I'm always taking notes, so I'm happy to photocopy everything. Somebody wants it. Then why don't we keep it at September 16th and look to see if we can find somebody to fill in for Linda that night.
Kristen Gorley, is September 16th a holiday for you?
No, it didn't affect me. It just, I noticed it when I was entering it into my schedule. So I didn't know if it affected anybody else, but no, I'm fine.
Okay. If there's no other issues, can I have a motion to accept our meeting schedule for calendar year 2021?
So moved. It's Ross.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
Bob Monroe. By roll call, if you could just say yay or nay. Bob DiPietro,
Yeah,
Ross Lally,
Yay.
Charlie Dana,
Yay.
Kristen Gorley,
Yay.
Bob Monroe,
Yay.
Dick Tuttle,
Aye.
Emily Bradley, yay. So this is our meeting schedule for next year. Obviously, like I said, we will add our special meetings as we need them. And I can stop sharing that. Okay. Any other comments on the upcoming? Our next meeting is December 17th, 7:15 Zoom. Maybe I'll figure out why my regular office doesn't like me and get my camera to work.
Hey, Emily, could I just throw something out there?
Yes.
If there's any way we could pick budget meeting dates sooner rather than later, that would just be really helpful.
Okay.
And if there's any way, if maybe Sandy and I, or Andrew and Sandy and I could be consulted, I'd really appreciate it.
Okay. I will put it on my to-do list to coordinate with, I'm pointing at your pictures, which you can't see, with Kristen and Sandy, who's, anyway, and see if we can put together a schedule and get something out. Maybe we can even talk about that in the next month, because I know you guys are starting your budget process right now. And at least we can get that calendar out there for people.
Appreciate
Okay?
it. Thanks.
Not a problem. Anything else that anybody else wants to add at this point? Otherwise, I will move on to item 7. Okay, I hereby call this meeting adjourned. I wish everybody a very happy Thanksgiving. Stay safe, stay healthy, don't eat too much turkey. Stay safe, stay healthy. And we will see everybody in December.
Virtually.
Virtually, Zoom meeting until further notice.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thanksgiving.
Good to see everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Night.
bye.
Thank you. Good night.